Barzell to the net. He's in alone. He scores! Matt Barzell, the answer. Oh, baby. Anders Lee, he scores! A perfect way for Anders Lee's 40th of the season. What a shot!
Hockey is back, and we are counting down to opening night. Barry Trotz has taken over as the Islanders head coach and is working to lay the foundation with the players. Can he help lead this team back to the playoffs? Well, the fans sure hope so. There are some talented players returning as well as some new faces joining the blue and orange. Hello, everyone. Welcome inside Barclays Center for the Islanders season preview show. I'm Shannon Hogan. I'll be your host for Islanders broadcast all season long here on MSG Networks. And it is going to be a very exciting year full of Islanders hockey. A lot has happened in the offseason. We're going to catch you up with all of that. And to do that, we're going to welcome in Brendan Burke and Butch Goring.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. Certainly a lot of changes, but Butch, you and I, we're still here.
That's the best thing about this whole outfit. We're here, Brendan.
Perfect. And as the Islanders, they start this new season, even for the players coming back, the veterans on this roster, there's a chance for a fresh start for the entire organization.
And they need a fresh start, no doubt about it. I mean, there was tremendous anticipation last year, tremendous expectations for this team, not only to do well, but to make the playoffs. None of that happened. It was a disastrous season. They got off to a pretty good start, but the rest of the season was all downhill. So, yes, big expectations this year. Now the onus is on the players to find a way to have a much better year.
The most visible and most important changes for the New York Islanders come at the very top of the organization. New president and general manager Lou Lamoriello, longtime New Jersey Devils executive, comes over from the Toronto Maple Leafs with his 3 Stanley Cup champions. And what does he do? He brings in Barry Trotz, last year's Stanley Cup champion with the Washington Capitals as the new head coach.
Well, I think there's a strong message to all the fans. These guys are absolute winners, and certainly Lou Lamoriello knows what he's doing. He's an experienced man in the National Hockey League, been around a long, long time. He knows exactly what he wants to get done each and every day, and he doesn't deviate from it, Brendan. So this guy's all about winning. Already you can see how he's changed this team to streamline it in different areas. So, yes, Lou Lamoriello, and of course he's a pretty smart guy too, because who does he hire right away? He hires a Stanley Cup champion. That's what you want. The players get... right off the bat, they know exactly what they need to get done. Barry Trotz gets instant respect. Why? Because he's a winner.
And we will hear from both Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz a little bit later on in the show. Obviously, a huge change in roster, leading with John Tavares. The John Tavares era officially over. It started in 2009. It is now over. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf. From the Islanders' perspective, Butch, what does it mean to the organization?
Well, it means you lost a heck of a good player, and there's no replacing John Tavares when you talk about the goals and the assists. However, it's a golden opportunity for everybody else on the Islander organization to shine, to prove to the world that they don't need John Tavares to win hockey games. Hey, listen, they won games before. They didn't win any Stanley Cups. They barely won any playoff games. This team's got a lot of room to improve. There are certain individuals on this hockey team who can now maybe take a jump. There's a little bit of motivation for them, a little bit of a challenge.
One of the main storylines last season for the Islanders was goals, both for and against. They scored a lot, and they allowed even more, most in their organization since the 95-96 season. If they want to compete, they need better goaltending.
Oh, they absolutely do need better goaltending, and it's an embarrassment, really, for the team when you talk about the goals against. I mean, just unbelievable, giving up 50 shots per game too many times. But at the end of the day, it's not always the goaltender's fault. But if they can be elite, if Leonard and Thomas Greiss can get back to the form that they're very, very capable of, then really it's going to be a whole different season. This is a big individual who has played very well. They've gotten a couple of good goaltending coaches. Mitch Korn has been a lifetime goaltending coach, so he's given a lot of instruction, wants to get these goaltenders back on the track. It's so important, Brendan. It doesn't matter how well you play. If that soft goal goes in every once in a while, it means you're probably going to lose hockey games. So the onus is really on the goaltenders, and it's maybe not fair, but it's their job. And if they play well, give you that elite status, Islanders could make the playoffs.
And Robin Leonard, not the only experienced NHL veteran coming into the New York Islanders. We won't see any of them tonight, but Valtteri Filppula, Leo Komarov, and Tom Kuhnhackl all bring something to this team.
Well, they really do. And number one is what they bring is experience. There's no doubt about it. And Lou Lamoriello wants more experience in that dressing room. He wants a tighter dressing room. Valtteri Filppula is a very good centerman. He's smart, kills penalties, and he's got that savvy. So yes, it's been a while since he's really played at the top of his game, but this is motivation for him too, as it is for all the veterans. Leo Komarov, again, tough guy, goes to the corners, he will battle. He brings that veteran presence into the dressing room. He can kill penalties. Yes, he can score goals, and that's always nice when the third or fourth liner can chip in. It's an important fact. This guy brings a Stanley Cup, so that's the meaning, that's the message really to all these guys. That's what you want. You got Johnny Boychuk, you got Kuhnackel, two guys that have won Stanley Cups. This is a guy that can score goals, scored some big goals for Pittsburgh. We're hoping he can score some big goals for the New York Islanders. A lot of changes for the Islanders in the offseason, all positive ones. Should give everybody, you and I, and the fans, something to think about in a way, a very, very positive manner.
It's certainly plenty for us to talk about throughout the season, and plenty for Shannon Hogan to talk about. Let's send it back over to Shannon.
Absolutely, guys. And, of course, we're looking forward to great calls from Brendan and Butch and some fantastic analysis as the season goes on. We have plenty more to come on the season preview show. Lou Lamoriello brings his experience to the Islanders, his first move to hire reigning Stanley Cup winning coach. Hear from the new Isles GM when we return.
Pokes it behind the net. No one saw it. Ladd able to get back on his horse and play it behind for Everly in front. Matt Barzal has a hat trick. It took him 37 games, and he's got his first hat trick in the NHL.
What did it mean to you to win the Calder?
It meant so much. It was it was a long year, and obviously, you go into the year, you're a rookie, that's on your mind a little bit, and it's like a goal in the back of your head. So for it to happen, and obviously my parents are super proud, and yeah, I'm super happy that it worked out and I was able to win that. Ever since I was really young, just always wanted to be the best, and so I think regardless of how the season went last year, I went into this summer and worked even harder than I did last summer. So I think, yeah, I don't know what it is, but something in me just, I want to be the best.
Matt Barzal wants to continue and be the best, and his teammates want the best for him as well. They know to be successful, Matt Barzal has to have a great sophomore season in the NHL, coming off winning that Calder, but he won't have to do it himself. A heavy emphasis on team first coming into this year. It's all coming from the top with the new president and general manager, Lou Lamoriello.
I'm as excited as anyone to be here. We know there's work we have to get done, but we're going to take it a step at a time, and I think it's a tremendous organization. The support from the ownership, I can't say enough about it. Success breeds success, and if you look throughout Barry's career, he's been extremely successful at what he's done. But not only his on-ice success, it's the type of individual he is. He's a people person, communicates extremely well, and when you got that combination, it's just great. The only time you look back is when you have success and you can feed off it. Right now we have to look forward and feed off each other and do all the little things that allow success to take care of itself. And that's what our focus should be. Not on who was here, who is here, who will be here. It's what we have.
And Barzal enters the line in time, and he scores! Matt Barzal just got on the ice, and he ends it for the Islanders.
Well, he's a young man who has God-given talent, loves the game, and wants to be good. But he is young, and I think that what we have to look at is the second year. The first year is in the past, and he has to grow, on and off the ice. But I would say that with any young player, no matter what his talents were, so I would never want that misunderstood. You grow with experience, and experience is what he needs to acquire. But as I mentioned, he's a tremendous talent. The people that we brought in have one of two pieces to them or aspects to them. They either have won and know what that means, or two, or the combination of both, are totally character and team orientated and can bring to this group something that I've experienced with them at different times. And to me, that's extremely important. Well, I think the priority is getting everybody to believe in each other, get on the same page, and doing things right, not sometimes, all the time.
A great interview with Lou Lamoriello, and interesting. I love how he said success breeds success, and he really did everything he was trying to do this summer to set this team up heading into the year so that they would have a chance to move back towards winning, which I know everybody is looking for them to do. We have more to come here on our season preview. Stepping out for a break. When we come back, hearing from Anders Lee, he scored 40 goals last season, but won't be satisfied until the Islanders are back in the playoffs again.
Lee in front. Barzal gets it to him. Anders Lee, he scores! A perfect way for Anders Lee's 40th of the season.
I've tried to build off the year I had before last year, and it's kind of something you try to do every year. And these things fall into place with your hard work, and I definitely see it as a challenge, and it's something to go have out there as a little end goal or something like that to try to achieve and try to match and try to be better. He went into Washington and took a good team and made him a great team and made him a Stanley Cup champion. So his resume speaks for himself. I know all of us, and me included, are looking forward to learning from him and taking his experiences and applying them to our game.
Anders Lee speaking modestly about his 40-goal season and also highly of his new head coach, Barry Trotz. And Trotz really had a whirlwind summer. After being the Nashville Predators' first head coach, he joined the Washington Capitals as their head coach in 2014. And then in June, lifted the Stanley Cup for the first time in his 19-year head coach career in the NHL. Needless to say, it was quite a moment for him, and then just 2 weeks later, he joined the Islanders organization.
Plain and simple, we won the Cup. We had all the fun that comes with the Cup. We had the parade, all that, and then I talked with management about a couple issues that were in place, and I felt after the discussion that I would go in a different direction. So I just made that decision based on more than anything, just principle of certain things that I believe in. So I wasn't at that point. I was just going to take some time off, and within probably an hour or two of it being sort of becoming public, the Islanders reached out, and when Lou reached out to me at that point, when I had resigned, that I said, yeah, I want to talk for sure, because I know what Lou brings to the table. I know his reputation. We didn't have any relationship at all, but I know a lot about what he's done, and I really respect that. So when we talked, I think I made my mind up that that's probably where I was headed. You know, going forward for this franchise, I mean, players look for location. They look for management. They look for a team that's on the rise, and I just felt that the Islanders, with the leadership of Lou, location, obviously the Belmont going forward is going to be huge for the franchise, and living in this area, I think that all those things that a player or a coach looks for, winning, location, all that, it's all here. We always talk about 110%. There's no such thing as 110%. There's 100%. You give your all, you get better every day, and get as close to that ceiling every day as you can. And if you can do that individually and collectively, you're going to have a chance to be successful. So let's learn the value of competing every night. We're going to have to learn to be comfortable when it's uncomfortable, on and off the ice. We're going to put some accountability and understand that accountability makes you better. And everything that you do has to be with a team in mind. I think when you get separated and segregated, if you will, and become an individual within the team aspect, the team doesn't have the strength that it has. Doesn't mean that you take away their creativity, their skills. You try to maximize their skills within the setting of the group. If you have a steady approach and you know where you want to go, you just map it out and you stay with it. I think sometimes when things don't go exactly the way you want, the first thing is, oh, let's reinvent the wheel. You don't have to. Sometimes it's just believing in the process. You hear that athletes say that, believe in the process that we're going through. we believe in what we're doing on the ice. We believe in what we're doing off the ice, and just staying consistent with it. The message has to be consistent so the players understand and everybody understands what's expected. And if you just keep pushing through and understanding where you're going, then you'll get there. It's not easy, but I think the message has to be consistent.
Barry Trotz was very insightful in his first sit-down interview with us. It was much longer than that, and hopefully you'll get a chance to hear more of that as the season progresses. And he really has a very cool ability to connect with players. You're already seeing that early on before the regular season even starts, and he's hoping to grow that as well. Some returning players that you'll know from last year, and also some fresh faces. One of those coming as a new goaltender. Yes, Yaroslav Halak moved on in the offseason. He went to Boston, and so Robin Lehner signed a one-year deal with the Islanders in July. He will be one of the Islanders netminders this year. He might look familiar because last year he played in Buffalo with the Sabres, had some big saves for them. But overall for him, kind of a disappointing year. He finished with the goals against a shade over 3 and a .908 save percentage in 53 games with Buffalo. He picked up 14 wins in his third season playing with them. He was drafted by the Ottawa Senators 2009, 46th overall. The Swede is 27 years old and one of the bigger goalies around the league at 6'5", 240 pounds. His career numbers show 72, 91, and 35 with a 2.82 goals against average, a .915 save percentage. Lehner has been through a lot over the last 6 months and is excited for a fresh start with the Islanders.
The new direction here with bringing Lou in. Obviously, Lou is one of the most experienced hockey people in this industry. Just the way he thinks, how things should be, and obviously bringing in Barry, who just won a Stanley Cup, and you know, it's nothing. He heard nothing but great things, and you know, just being around him and the direction he wants to take the team, it's very encouraging to me. And then you see they get 2 new goalie coaches, some of the best in the game. You know, just seeing what they're putting into this, and just meeting the players. The players have been great so far. It feels like it's a very mature room, good leadership, and
On the same day that Robin Lehner signed with the Islanders, they also got Matt Martin in a trade back with the Toronto Maple Leafs, where he spent the last 2 seasons. I know that made Matt Martin very happy, as well as some of his best friends who are currently playing on the Islanders, and I think the fans as well. He brings the energy night in and night out, always standing up for his teammates. He embraced his role as a physical player, and while playing with the Islanders, he was consistently at the top of the league in hits. He didn't get the playing time he would have liked with the Leafs, and is really looking forward to making a difference with the Islanders this year. And there's, of course, been that chatter that maybe he'll go back in that 4th line with Casey Cizikas and Cal Clutterbuck. Martin, drafted by the Isles in 2008. The team reacquired him from Toronto in July of this past year. A physical player, and Islanders will need that as well. There are players joining the Islanders, also the strong core remaining on defense and at forward. What are they looking forward to? Hear from them when we return. Welcome back to the Islanders season preview show. Isles had a busy offseason with changes, but are ready to get down to business. And some important notes to this year's schedule. I know many people thought April of 2015 was the last time the Isles would play a regular season or playoff game at the Coliseum, but that is not the case. Half of the home games will be there at the newly renovated NYCB Live. October 6th is the home opener against Nashville. January 18th, the return of Barry Trotz to Washington, where he won that Stanley Cup. And February 28th is when John Tavares will come back to Brooklyn. Last game of the regular season is scheduled for April 6th. And of course, playing some games at Nassau Coliseum is a cause for the players to be excited, but especially for the returning players, they were really disappointed with the way things ended up in April last year and want to hit the ground running. They are thrilled and excited about the new front office management as well as their new coach.
You know, it's a new year. It's a different organization right now. You know, I kind of feel like a rookie coming back into my first year. So I'm just excited to get the season started. That first puck drop, you know, the first hit, the first goal, the first shift, you know, all that's just building up, you know, from this first day of camp here today to that moment, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
Well, obviously there's a fresh start for everybody. There's new coaches, new GM. You know, I think that gives everybody a fresh start and a fresh piece of paper.
We're a group that has pride, and we also have a lot to prove because, you know, it's easy to say that we're going to outdo expectations, but we've let ourselves down, and I think you get a little extra fire underneath you, and it's just an exciting time and a lot of energy, and I think just looking to prove people wrong.
You know, we all got to stick to our jobs, we all got to trust each other, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think you know, the trust, we'll learn it from each other, and we'll know that everyone will have each other's back.
Just playing together. Obviously there's defense and forwards, but I think it's important for everyone to be on the same page. And I think, you know, coaching staff, Barry's had a lot of success. He plays, you know, kind of a defensive style, and I think he's going to implement that on us, and I think it's really going to help us.
Well, I mean, I just want to be a key player on this team and just want to have an impact every night. And I mean, yeah, take my game to another level, just being confident on the ice, and it's not going to be one player that's going to take them all. It's just going to be a group effort, and I want to be an impact player and a key player for this team.
I really just start fresh every year. I think there's always pressure and excitement no matter what happened the year before, and I think you have to embrace pressure. I think it's a good thing. It can motivate you to be better, and not only individually but as a team. Yeah, I think you have to take those things and kind of use it to your advantage.
Thank you so much for watching our season preview show. And as you can see, there is so much to be excited for heading into this 2018-19 season. Of course, MSG Networks will be with you all season long with 81 of the 82 games throughout the regular season. We're going to bring you all the action on the ice as well as one-on-one interviews with your favorite players and head coach Barry Trotz. Anders Lee looking to build off that amazing 40-goal season. And of course, number 13, Matt Barzal, is sure to dazzle us all as he comes in riding his Calder Trophy high. Sure to be a fun season. We're proud to bring it to you these next 8 months.